Hi, welcome to today's talk. Today we'll be talking a little bit more about what to bring and how to prepare for your move to China. So my name is Juraj. I've been in China as an international teacher recruiter for 1.5 years, and this is my colleague Jennifer.
Hi, yeah, I'm Jennifer. I've been here in Shanghai for over 3 years now, and I've been a recruiter for a year. So we've definitely got lots of information that we can cover for you today about that exciting adventure here to China.
Okay, so for the first part, we would like to talk a little bit more about how to prepare for your move to China and what to bring. So the first thing to keep in mind is that every airline has a weight limit. So make sure not to pack your whole wardrobe, but just take the essentials and the clothes that you actually do need. So in terms of weight limit, every airline has a different weight limit, so make sure to check on the website and see what the weight limit is, of course.
Because it's very tempting to bring your whole wardrobe for every season, but just think, what time of year am I coming? What area of the country am I going to? And pack for that climate, because you only really need maybe 2 weeks to a month's worth of clothes, and then you'll end up shopping here and finding new clothes. So don't worry about bringing everything.
Exactly, because as Jenny says, you will be able to find all the Western brands here in China. So from your Zara to H&M to any other kind of brands, you'll be able to find it here. So speaking of clothes, some of the clothes that you do need to pack are clothes that are suitable for the workplace. So for example, our kids and teen centers, what we expect the teachers to wear are khaki style pants and black shoes. The top would be provided by us.
Yeah,
so it
I
would
have an
be
example.
A polo shirt, navy polo shirt that we have right here.
Yeah, so this is an example of the shirt. So you'd get 2 of these in the summertime, and you just get a long sleeved version in the winter. So yeah, you'll get these on arrival, so don't worry about packing the top half, but do remember to bring those khaki trousers, cream, beige, preferably would be ideal.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so for our adult centers and for our online center, what we expect teachers to wear are business casual clothes. So a collared shirt, a dress shirt, and dress pants, that's typically the uniform, as well as dress shoes.
Yeah, you don't need a tie, you don't need to be quite as smart as Yori here. And also, girls don't really need to have a blazer or anything, but you might want that just in case it's the winter time, as I say. But dresses, smart pants, smart trousers, a blouse, skirts, they're all acceptable as long as they're kind of business casual.
Exactly. So we talked a little bit more about what to bring to China. So now what you can't really find in China.
Yeah, it's a little bit more difficult. Yeah.
So some of the things that are harder to find are shoes that are a little bigger in size. So shoes tend to be a little smaller here. So if you do have big feet, make sure to maybe buy a couple of extra pairs of shoes while you're back home.
Yeah.
And then you'll have shoes for a little longer while you're in China.
So what kind of sizes would that be? Because I have very small feet, so I'm not too sure about that.
Exactly. So maybe 10 UK size or US size, or 40, 42, 43, 44 European size. That's the kind of the range of the
so anything above that, you would recommend bringing maybe one style, maybe sneakers, one formal, one, just so they've got some options.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Great. Also, some things that you can find in China. Actually, tailored made suits and shirts are very popular here, and they're very, very cheap. So if you're looking to kind of get some extra shirts or some extra pants, that's very easy to kind of get tailored and custom made. So yeah, that's
definitely. As I was saying, actually, just earlier, I got a coat made in the winter time, and it was so nice. I really loved it, and yeah. Basically, I'd seen the picture on Instagram and I was like, oh, this is nice. I can't find it in any of the stores. So I went and took it to the tailors, and they were able to kind of make that for myself. Yeah.
Okay, great, yeah. Okay, and now we would like to talk a little bit more about toiletries and what kind of products we can find here in China.
Yeah, I feel like that is the second thing you think about. After clothing, you think, okay, what toiletries do I need to bring? So don't worry, most things you will be able to find here in China. All those big brands that you're familiar with, like MAC, Sephora, you will find here. So don't worry too much. You'll be able to get your shampoos and conditioners and things. And remember, you are going to be in that hotel for the first 2 weeks as well. So you don't even really need to bring any with you. You can just buy it once you move into your apartment. So don't go crazy with things like that, all those mainstream items that you do buy on a regular basis. But some things to consider that you might not find as readily here in China. One is roll-on deodorant. So I actually use spray, so I've not found an issue with that, but the kind of, not the roll-on, it's kind of like the cream that you kind of push up and then you roll on. That is harder to find here in China. So maybe bring a couple if that's your preference. And also another thing to consider is that darker shades are also quite hard to find here. They're not impossible to find, but they will just stock less. So if you are darker skin tone, then please bring a couple with you. But again, you will be able to find those big brands here, so don't go overboard. Remember that weight limit. And another thing also is if you have a really specific requirement. So, you know, if you wear a really particular shade of makeup that you absolutely love and you know it's kind of a niche market. For example, I use Laura Mercier foundation, and I knew that would be hard to find here because I struggled to find it in the UK. So I just brought a couple of extra tubes with me. It wasn't too weighty, so I could put that in my bag. So maybe just bring some if you have any kind of allergies or you really like a specific brand that might be harder to find. But other than that, as I say, maybe just pack as light as possible, and remember you've got that hotel stay, so don't go over the top.
Definitely. Okay, so the next thing that we want to talk about is a little bit more about electronics and the internet. So, of course, being in China, there are some differences when it comes down to electronics and what to think about. So, for example, the first thing to keep an eye out on is the voltage and the electricity. So you will need to buy a couple of adapters for your electronics. The plug and the socket are different than Western plugs and sockets. So for example, in the UK you have the 3-prong system, and in the US you have another type of plug. So in China there is the 2-plug system, so make sure to buy an adapter for that. Also for products such as hair dryers
Hair straighteners.
and such, hair straighteners, exactly. You would need to get a converter. The voltage here is different, so you will need a converter to kind of convert that so you don't break your appliances.
Yeah, definitely. I actually didn't bring one with me. Mine was okay, but I definitely know in the US there is a higher voltage there. So you might go to use your straightener for the first time and then it doesn't work because it's kind of blown a fuse or something like that, and we don't want you to ruin any of your nice expensive products when you first get here. And remember, we also do give you one adapter in your welcome pack, but it is always good to just maybe have one per electronic device, just so you're not constantly changing them up.
Exactly, right. So also when it comes to electronics, mobile phones, that's a big thing too.
Yeah.
So make sure that your mobile phone is unlocked. So a lot of mobile phones come with a carrier, such as T-Mobile or Verizon. So make sure to contact your mobile phone company and see if your phone is unlocked. And if it's not, you can always ask them to kind of unlock it for you.
Yeah.
When you get here, you will be provided with a SIM card. If you open up your phone, you can put that in and just make sure that it's unlocked and it should work perfectly.
Yeah.
Another thing to keep in mind is that the internet in China is a little bit different. So in order to kind of access websites that you would be able to access from back home, such as Google or Facebook, you would need a VPN. So make sure to download a VPN before you get to China. Some good ones are ExpressVPN, Astral, and so forth. You can always download that before you get here, and those websites should work perfectly. Also, when you're here, a good application to download is WeChat.
Yes.
So
definitely.
everyone uses WeChat. It's a great kind of application. It's WhatsApp and Facebook combined into one. You can also pay for things in China using
pay for
WeChat.
utilities. You can book plane tickets, you can get on the e-bikes around the cities, so it's really, really useful. And also when you do get here, actually a couple of weeks before you get here, we will add you into a WeChat group with all those teachers that you'll be onboarding with as well. So it's nice because you can get to know them even before you've arrived.
Exactly. So it's a very useful app. Make sure to download WeChat. Great stuff.
Okay, so one of the next things that is very important to bring here in China, maybe not those first things that you think about, but obviously you are going to be here for a year or even more. So like myself, and you're right, you might be here even longer than that. But obviously plan for that initial year and your medication that you might need during that time. So over-the-counter things are readily available and easy to find here in China. So don't worry about that too much. Maybe just bring a packet of each things that you usually use when you get sick, and that'll be okay. You'll be able to find that at your local pharmacy or the doctors, so don't worry about that. Things to consider though are your prescriptions. So if you're on a specific prescription and you need to make sure that you have enough of that whilst you're here in China, obviously you will be able to go to a doctor and be able to get that next prescription, but we always recommend to get at least 6 months to a year before leaving. So consult with your doctor, talk to them about getting a prescription for that period of time, and also some alternatives just in case you can't find that when you do get here. So consult with your medical professional. Another thing to consider is contraception. So again, that is very readily available when you're here, but if you're used to a specific brand that you are very used to and your body's used to, then again, maybe ask your doctor for a 6 months to a year long prescription. But that is cheap and readily available here in China, so don't worry too much. Another thing is the prescription for your glasses. So if you have any glasses, don't worry. If you lose them or something happens or you wear contacts, you will be able to find them here quite easily in China, actually. They're really cheap to get a nice pair of frames, so don't worry too much about trying to find them as well. And then obviously vaccinations. So that is something people think about coming to the country. So none are mandatory. There aren't any that you need to enter the country. However, there will be recommended ones by your government body. So what I would recommend, go to your government website. For example, in the UK, it's gov.org. In the US, it's the National Health Service. Sorry, not National Health Service. That's the same as the UK. It's their government regulation body. You can just Google it, what's recommended for China, and they'll be able to recommend some. So it's really up to you about what you get. Again, consult with your doctor on that. Maybe there's some things that need topping up. Maybe there's some things that you'd like to be vaccinated against. So consult with your doctor on that.
Okay, so of course, before you move to China, of course, inform everyone that you'll be making a move to your parents and to your friends, but most importantly, to your bank as well. Yeah. So a lot of bank cards in the US and in Western countries, if you do make the move without you telling them, they will block your card because they'll think that some suspicious behavior is happening.
Exactly.
So make sure to give your bank a call, tell them that you're making a move and that you'll be withdrawing money in China. So they don't block that card.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want a bit of extra funds when you first get here and you go to an ATM, try to withdraw it, it will block it because they think someone in China is trying to steal your money or something. So make sure that you just give them a call. I was actually able to do that online. I could do that on my online banking. So just contact your bank.
Exactly. So yeah, and of course, while we're talking about money, it's also very important to have money on hand once you get here. So in order to kind of set up, to be able to buy things and of course buy food and kind of sustain yourself the first couple of days you're here, make sure to bring 2,500 to 3,000 RMB just in cash, so you have that, so you can kind of survive.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing to consider, obviously, we will have said to you in that offer confirmation, and your recruiters will have mentioned, we do say that 10,000 RMB, but just bring around a quarter of that in cash because you are going to be waiting for that first paycheck. So you need to be able to get by. You might want to go to IKEA and set yourself up in your apartment. So it's just good to have that cash initially, and then if you need some more, you can go and withdraw that. But yes, it is important to make sure you have the funds. If you arrive before the 15th, you will be able to have your first paycheck on the final day of that month. If you arrive after the 15th of the month, you will then get it on the following month. So it'll be kind of like a month and a bit in that paycheck, which is quite nice, but you will have to wait.
Exactly. And also make sure to bring it in RMB. Some cash machines won't be able, or some places won't be able to take currencies from other countries. So make sure that you have those RMB notes ready. Also, there is an ATM in the hotel, and they're scattered all around the country that will be able to take your credit card or your debit card. So make sure to use those machines if you do need to withdraw money as well.
Yeah, so the final thing that we always like to say in these talks is to bring something that reminds you of home, so a creature comfort. I can remember when I first came here, I thought, what do I really like when I move into an apartment? And I always like to put pictures up of my family and friends. So I knew that would make me feel instantly at home, so I just packed a few of my favourite pictures, and then when I did eventually move in, I got some nice photo frames and put it around my apartment. It made me settle in a lot sooner than I think I probably would have without them. It just makes you feel at home. What did you bring with you when you came?
So yeah, I should have brought a picture of my family as well. But yeah, I brought headphones. I take headphones everywhere I go, so it kind of relaxes me when I'm traveling or when I have some downtime. So I just put those in and yeah.
Play some music.
Play some music from home.
Question 1. What VPN do you recommend we download or install before arriving in China?
So as we said before, so there are a lot of VPNs that you can download. Some of the more popular ones are ExpressVPN and Astral VPN.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend when you do come here, just have a little look and do some research about what's recommended right now. So for example, as the year goes on, different ones are recommended at different times. When I first came here, Astral was recommended. That's what I downloaded and what I've used ever since. You can also get free ones as well, so maybe look into some free ones and do a bit of research around that.
Question 2. For kids and teens teachers, how many pairs of khakis should we pack? Also, is wearing sneakers or tennis shoes acceptable? For EFEC teachers, is wearing a short sleeve shirt acceptable for the workplace?
Okay, so in terms of how many khakis that you need to bring, I would say maybe 2. Don't go overboard. I would say maybe 1 or 2, 3 at the most, because again, you will be able to find those things here when you get here. So I actually brought 2, and then I didn't really like one of the pairs when I got here and ended up buying a new pair as well. And then in terms of the shoes, no, it does have to be flat, black or brown or dark coloured shoes that are professional looking and closed toe. So unfortunately not sneakers. For adults as well, you'll be good to answer this question.
Yeah, so for adult locations, of course, having short sleeves but having a dress shirt, that's totally acceptable in the summer months, of course, when it does get a little hot.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. And of course, professional style shoes as well.
Question 3. What types of Western stores can you find in China?
Okay, so some of the things that you or I went over earlier, so Zara, I think you said, H&M, there's also Forever 21, all the really big sports brands as well, like Adidas, Nike,
Right.
Adidas, depending on where you're listening from.
Exactly, right.
So all those big brands, don't worry, you will find here. Unfortunately, no Primark for people that are coming from the UK, and also
sadly.
No Walmart. Oh, we
Exactly,
do have
no
Walmart,
Walmart.
but not the kind of clothes.
It
so.
is a little different, but yeah.
Question 4. Can you show us an example of a converter plug?
Right, so a lot of people ask what a converter plug looks like. So I happen to have one right here. So this is what it looks like. So this is the plug that's for the US, and it would convert plugs from China.
Question 5. I haven't gotten any vaccinations. Is this okay?
Yeah, so for vaccinations, as I said earlier, none are mandatory, so please consult with your healthcare professional about which ones you might need topping up on or any that they would recommend for yourself. Okay, so thank you for listening to us today. Just some of those things that we did go over: clothing, toiletries, electronics, medication,
and important documents.
Most important, bring your documents,
yeah.
and also those creature comforts that we were speaking about. So again, let us know if you have any further questions. You can write a comment in the section below, and don't forget to subscribe and give us a like if you enjoyed this video.
Okay, and hopefully see you guys very, very soon.
Yeah, bye.